guys, what's going on? It's Monday, and it's movie time.
Yep.
Holy crap.
That's all I'm going to say is yep.
Yeah, thanks. That's really giving me something to work off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's movie time.
Yep.
We saw this bitch twice.
Kind of. If you were not here the other day, we actually went to see this movie on Thursday night, which was my birthday. And it was kind of during the middle of a hurricane. We're in
Florida. Hurricanes don't mean nothing.
Well, yeah. Well, and plus it was just like the edge of it. We're like, fuck that. You know what I mean? It's just a little wind. It's fine.
Yeah, and AMC's like, yeah, we'll play during the hurricane.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So,
and
there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there.
A lot of people there, yeah.
Floridians, man. We're just like I said.
We don't give a shit.
It's like, oh, it's just a little hurricane.
It's just a little alligator.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're used to it.
Yeah.
So, however,
that's a small gunfight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a small meth lab explosion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Florial. So so we went to see the movie, and actually the power went out part of the way through, but then it actually did come back up, and they got the movie back going again. But then later on, probably about 2/3 of the way through the movie, the power went out again, and they couldn't get the movie back up, like when the power came up. So they gave everybody free passes. So
they should have given us 2 free passes.
Well,
think about it.
Why?
Because we'd have to pay for an extra trip to come back. For all the gas and our time, they should have gave us 2. Then it'd have been worth it.
Well, I'm sure most people that go to that movie theater probably live a lot closer to it than we do. I mean, you know what I mean? We live kind of far.
I want 2 passes, man.
I mean, if you'd asked, they probably would.
Yeah, they would probably would.
They're just they got a big pack of them. They just been like, whatever, fuck it, I don't care. But you know, these it's like doesn't cost us anything. But so we went back yesterday and saw it again. So we actually got to see the end. And it's funny because we didn't really know. I guess we kind of speculated a little bit because we didn't see the end the first time. And we were like, well, kind of where is they going to go with that or something? I was not ready.
Yeah.
I did not know how fucking banana pants the end of this movie was going to be, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, see,
I loved that.
The movie remains pretty fucking even-tempered. You know what I mean? For a sci-fi horror movie, up until the very end, when she tries to abort the fucking
mission,
and tries to abort the experiment with the fucking substance, and then it becomes another movie. And that was funny because that's where it shut down the first time.
Yeah, the power went out right when she was going to get the final kit.
The final kit, right?
And then it shut off.
And it could have gone anywhere. But second time we saw it and saw where it went, man, it's fucking bizarre. All right, I liked it. I thought it was a great movie.
It's bonkers. Yeah. I was like, but I was into it though. Like I said, I don't know, because here's the thing.
It was fucking crazy, man.
This is a crazy fucking movie. Yeah. Like, it was kind of crazy, like, up to that point, but after that, I was just like, okay, like, it went balls to the wall. And like I said, I was like, all right, I respect that game. I do. Like, just the sheer fucking, it kind of reminded me, like, the vibe of it. It's not really the same kind of story, but the vibe of it kind of reminded me of Poor Things, just in terms of, like, sheer fucking audacity.
Yeah.
And I liked the kind of, it's not, I wouldn't call it like a surreal movie, but it's hyper real for sure. Yeah. And it's like a fable, because there's some stuff in there that's obviously not super realistic, but you're not really supposed to like worry about it because it's not supposed to be entirely real, like, or happening in the real world. I thought of it more like a fable.
It's making a lot of social commentary on fucking superficiality, Hollywood culture, fucking hormone therapy and age-related therapies that fucking that stars use, and self-loathing. There's a lot of fucking cool elements to the story.
Yeah, it went a lot into like women's self-hatred.
Yeah, that they're not good-looking enough, and then Hollywood fucking makes the shit even more fucking intense, you know. And it's about this chick who's played by Demi Moore. She hits about 50, and all of a sudden they're gonna fire her from her job as like a fitness. She's kind of like a aerobicized chick.
Yeah.
Like
I will note that even though she's turning 50 in the movie, Demi Moore is actually 61 or 62.
She looks great, man.
She actually does look really good in this movie.
And she's nude through most of the movie. Both the girls are.
So much nakedness. In this movie.
A lot of good, healthy, all-American nudity.
All-American.
Yeah, And Demi looks fucking great. I didn't realize she was 61. I thought she was about my age. I thought she was about 55.
No, she's older.
Now, me and Jen we were analyzing the shit. There's a lot of scenes where she's in the bathroom in her fucking penthouse apartment looking at herself in the mirror that she's aging. And you can see that she's aging. But she looks good she looks fantastic for 61. And me having a background in like fitness and shit, fucking hormone therapies and steroids, I'm looking at her and I'm going, that core there is good. 3 months, she could be tight as fucking hell if she got into the gym and fucking did the right stuff, did the right gear. And then it dawned on me and says, you know what? She didn't get in shape for this movie. She got out of shape for this movie.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But that said, I think the cool thing about it was that the point they were trying to make is that, like I said, in the context of the story, she's supposedly turning 50 and she's like over the hill now. Yeah. But the actress herself is actually a decade older than
60,
that.
Yeah.
So the fact that she still looks, I mean, for that age, she still looks fantastic.
She's attractive.
But she's still not good enough.
Not for
you know
Hollywood.
what I mean? And and so like, and especially becomes like even more amped up like when she births the better version of herself.
Yeah, okay, let's back up on this. She's losing her job, and she's famous. She's got a fucking star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood.
She's got Oscars and all kinds of crap.
And she's got a television program where she's doing an exercise fitness show, and with other women about her age on it. They look okay too for their age, but she's the star, and she's had a great run. But her manager, the guy who runs the television studio, is like, nope, that's it. We're gonna part ways, and we're gonna replace you with a younger one. And so I guess they're gonna give her a severance, pay and package, and she's gonna go and put her out to fucking. Well, she's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're gonna put her out to pasture. A normal woman would have been happy. She had a long run, man. She still looked great at 61. She'd be able to. But there's something about this chick. She wants to be on top all the time, and she's kind of ruthless. She wants to be, the apple of everyone's eye. She gets into a car wreck and goes to the hospital. They check her out. She's all right. But one of the young doctors working there, or nurses that was working there, he looked like a model. He's inspecting her fucking backbone and shit. She said, I thought I was done. And he's going, look. And he goes, you would make a good candidate.
She's like, what?
And
nothing.
She doesn't know it, but he slips something into her pocket. And when she's walking home, she reaches into her pocket and finds it. It's a note. It says, this changed my life. Now, this dude was young. He was real good looking. He looked like a model. And in there was a USB drive. So she takes it home and plugs it into her smart TV. And it plays a commercial from some kind of high-tech, I guess it's a biotech firm. And it says, have you ever dreamt of a better, more perfect version of yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it said, with the substance you can achieve that. And it shows like a fucking, and then it gives the whole rules. It shows an egg separating into two yolks, and it says that if you take the substance, the more perfect self will emerge from you, and you have to trade off every 7 days, being one and the other. But you're the same person. And it was a real slick advertisement. She didn't believe the shit though. She threw it away.
Yeah.
Later on, she's looking at herself in the mirror and she's fucking going, God, she doesn't look like she wants to anymore. So she goes through it, and she fucking goes and gets the fucking substance, and she called a phone number, didn't it? And it gave,
they
gave her an address.
USB drive had a phone number on it.
Yeah.
And calls it. You never find out who it is that's making the shit. You never find out who it is that's on the phone.
You never find out. She didn't pay for this either.
Not that we know of. They never. And we were kind of speculating, but I think it's better that they left it ambiguous like that, because it's like, I think if they would have explained where it came from, I think that would have kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
But I think it's like this just mysterious. Like, apparently you don't have to pay for it. Like, we know there's at least one other person walking around because you see them that has done it, but we don't know if there's anybody else doing it. But so you just call this number, and there's a voice on the other end. You never find out who it is. And he basically says, write this address down, and she writes it down, and then he just hangs up. Yep. And then, like, she finds it's this totally sketchy...
Yeah, well, first she gets the letter, though. The letter had a pass card in it that said 504 or
503,
503.
It has, like, a number on it.
Had a number on the back of it. And it was also a pass card had, like, a strip on the back of it, so you could It was like a key. So she goes to the address they gave her, and it's this skeevy, sketchy fucking thing in an alley.
Yeah.
And she waves the card, and a little electronic fucking door opens up like a garage door. It was real narrow, though. It was only like 3 feet wide. And it only goes halfway up. She had to go underneath there and walk through this fucking dark...
Like there's like fucking...
Like an alleyway looking thing.
Like needles and shit. Like
needles
littering.
What the fuck is this? And she gets to this white room that had all these boxes and with different numbers on them. And I counted them. There were 18 of them.
But they didn't all have numbers on them.
They didn't all have numbers, but a lot of them did. And she took that pass card and put it on the number that she had it opened up, and there was a cardboard box in there. And what did it say on there? It said just a number. Her number,
it just had her number
503.
Yeah.
So she takes it home and opens it up, and it's instructions on what to do. Like
syringes,
and fucking IV hoses and
food
matrix shit, stabilizer. And she's like, what the fuck? And it's telling her how to use this shit. So she injects herself with the fucking substance and fucking passes out on the floor and starts going into convulsions. And another girl pops out her back. Her back fucking splits open like a piece of fucking ham and shit. The other girl fucking falls out. I guess it took a few hours, but... So now there's 2 of them. And the new girl walks up and she's looking at herself.
Like,
how gorgeous she is.
Look at me.
And sews up the back of Demi Moore. And then hooks her up to the food matrix so she could eat. And she's going to be... What the deal is that... Then they have to switch after 7 days. So what it is that when the new girl came out, Demi Moore's consciousness kind of was now in this girl. We talked about it for a long time.
Yeah,
were there 2 of them or one of them? She was experiencing life as that girl, but her personality was very different.
And I think the longer that they were apart, I think their personalities started to diverge more.
Right. So kind of like they became 2 separate people.
Because like sometimes, like it seemed like she was experiencing it, but she didn't remember...
Everything
that had happened, like when the other girl was alive,
or couldn't relate to it. She would reject
or something.
I think she knew, but she didn't react to it the same way. She's like, I can't believe that I did that, you know. So what it is that you live 7 days as the new girl, and then you have to switch. They trade blood through the damn IVs, and then she goes unconscious for 7 days, and the old Demi Moore is now conscious for 7 days.
Right.
She has to be herself. But their opinions change as they go. And it gets pretty fucking wild. The new version of her wants Demi Moore's old job. He goes down there and gets it, becomes a fucking star, blows the ratings through the roof. She's hot as shit. Well, the audience likes her. She is a cute girl, not really my type, too skinny. Yeah, but
Margaret Qualley, she's been in a lot of stuff actually.
Yeah, so she puts on a great show, and and it says it's a better, more improved version of you. But really, what it is it kind of magnified Demi Moore's fucking, kind of like her ambitions and her arrogance and her lack of self-discipline and stuff. It was kind of magnified. That's wild. I'm gonna let Jen take over and tell a story from there on out. But I enjoyed the movie because this is just the very beginnings of the trouble. The movie has a very, very Cronenbergian body horror element to it. A lot of body horror.
Yeah, if you're at all bothered by needles or fluids or anything like that,
losing control over your body,
you're gonna have a bad time. And actually, like I said, and toward the end of it, it goes full on like fucking.
It almost goes horror comedy, but
well, it's kind of a black comedy. Yeah. Like, but it gets kind of more absurd and like funny as it goes, which I was kind of into. I wasn't really expecting it to go that hard or go that nuts.
It
like
went
toward
over
the end.
Fucking top.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like I fucking loved it. I was just like laughing my ass off. I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And when we were leaving though, like the woman that was sitting behind us, she's like, wow, that got a little bit extra at the end.
Yeah.
Like I heard her say. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's one way of putting it.
So if you want to see the movie, you don't want any spoilers, this is probably a time to probably like check out because there's spoilers.
Because I kind of want to discuss like some of the stuff that we were talking about.
It's probably best if you just see it on the screen.
And I mean, this is a movie that even if you spoil stuff about it, I kind of feel like it's still worth seeing because it's so awesome to look at. It's just like the visuals are so awesome, like the sound design is so awesome. It's just like a good looking movie. Like almost like it seems like 99% of the effects were practical, which is great. Like the practical effects in this, like the old age makeup and the monster makeup and stuff like they do.
Stuff.
I mean, looks amazing.
On par with the original. Actually, might exceed a little bit of the original thing. The thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I looked it up. It was a team of, because the director of this, Coralie Fargeat, I think is how you pronounce her last name. So she's French. I think the team that did the effects, it was like 3 French guys. But they did a phenomenal job. Like the makeup in this is amazing.
The story's good. The acting's very good. Very good. Dennis Quaid's in it. He fucking chews up the entire scenery.
Oh my god, Dennis Quaid is so awesome in this.
He quades the fuck out.
He's like so grotesque.
Yeah, and they want you to see him as a grotesque, exaggerated.
Yeah, they film him like with a fisheye lens, and he's like eating shrimp and like this big mouth, and he has this big mouth that looks like a butthole, and it's just kind of like it is like big, and these ridiculous fucking suits that he wears. Yeah, and he's got like tar on his teeth from smoking. And, and all this other kind of stuff, and you can tell he's
just real sleazy.
He's having a fucking blast, like playing that role. You can totally tell.
He plays the television studio producer, or director, owner, is he?
I guess he's the producer.
He's like CEO because he introduces everybody to the board, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he must be CEO of it.
LC says, oh, yeah, and I wanted to mention this, too. It said the first comparison that came to mind was Brian Yesna's Society. Yes, the end of this in particular, and by the way, if you've never seen Society, please see it. It's one of the craziest fucking movies ever made. So if you are familiar with that movie, and in particular the end scene, also known as the shunting, then you will kind of see where the end of this is going. The end of it also a little bit like a reverse Carrie, in the sense of like all the blood and everything. Because I mean, there's like a literal like blood hose thing. It's not a hose; it's an arm, but it's just like sprays. Yeah, and also he said the film goes to 11, which is apt given there's an actual spinal tap in the film. Yeah, I mean it goes for it. I'm just gonna say. Now Xander just said, I'm all about trading blood and injecting substances. I'm gonna have to see this.
It was up there. Okay, it's up there with the top 3 horror movies of this year.
It's easily one of the best horror movies I've seen this year.
Yeah, with what was the fucking Midnight with the Devil? What was it called?
Late Night with the Devil.
I put it up there with that, and
even though those are two completely different.
They're completely different, but I would say as good. And what was that other one? I don't think I saw the other one that the other one from this year
that I was talking about.
That you were talking about.
I probably mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah,
but I
didn't see it. I don't think.
Oh, I will say too, the director of this one, if you like this movie, her first movie was called Revenge, and it came out in 2017 or 2018. It's like a rape revenge movie, and it's really, really good. It's also on Shudder, and I think it's on Amazon Prime. I saw it a couple of years back.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was the same director. Like, this also kind of reminded me a little bit of, who's that other French director? Julia Ducournau, I think is her last name. Mm-hmm. She made Raw, and she made Titane, which was one of my favorite movies of the year that it came out.
Oh, the Mia Goth movie. It's as good as the Mia Goth.
Oh, yeah, Maxine, yeah.
Yeah, it's as good as that.
Yeah.
Just very different.
But yeah, so I don't know. There's just something like really, every frame of this movie, you can tell, and the director has even said, because I saw like some clips of interviews with her, she is very much influenced by Stanley Kubrick, for sure.
Yeah.
The Thing, big time. I don't know if she mentioned Society or not, but yeah, this did kind of remind me of that. Like I said, it reminded me of like Yorgos Lanthimos a little bit, but not quite the same vibe.
Kind of like Videodrome and The Brood.
Yeah, it is very David Cronenbergian. I said, the weird thing about it, though, is I said it kind of reminded me a little bit more of Brandon Cronenberg's first movie, Antiviral, even though that wasn't funny, not that I remember.
Yeah.
But the kind of vibe or the aesthetic of it kind of reminded me of that. But this is like a lot more, it has like a kind of a clinical look to it like that did, but then it's like also like really super colorful and like super over the top. But you can tell she was influenced by The Shining big time too, because that, especially that hallway that she shoots all the time, like at the TV studio that has that carpet that kind of looks like The Shining carpet and like the red walls and everything.
Yeah.
So you could tell she was really influenced by that. But yeah, so it's like I kind of feel like it gets funnier as it goes, because like I said, it's not.
And it's not a comedy though.
No,
it gets absurd.
It's like absurdist.
Yeah.
More than like more than like zany funny.
It's trying to make a point.
Yeah.
And it does. It's got a lot of good themes in there. One of the main messages is that people treat you based upon how you look. That's one thing. All right. Hollywood is even worse. Okay. At doing that. Another one of the themes is that you kind of become how people treat you. So it's kind of like a synergy.
Yeah.
To it. That even though a person may be a celebrity, they're actually worthless to the system once they get to a certain age. They're thrown away like they're garbage. And that really it's the executives and stuff that have all the power. That theme was going. What else was in there? Oh, that some people will do anything to try to stay on top. And they're willing to take all different kinds of risks.
Yeah, because I kind of like that, even though you could say from one point that you didn't really get super in-depth. Like, they don't go way in-depth into, like, Demi Moore's backstory or her career or anything like that. Really just, like, the beginning, they kind of show she was a big, huge star. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. She got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, everybody's taking pictures. Oh, we love you and all this other stuff. She got Oscars and all this stuff. And then they do this thing where they focus in on her star, and it's like getting older and cracks, and like people are taking pictures by it at first, like, hey, she's famous, but then after that they're like,
they don't give a shit.
They're like, who's that? Or
dropping hamburgers.
I kind of remember her like dropping food on it and garbage and pigeons pecking at it and stuff. So it's like, so you can tell she's kind of like fading away. So I thought that was like a really good, like, elegant way without getting too much into backstory.
She eventually dies on that thing too. Eventually,
yeah.
They made that like a spiritual, like an occasion. That's fucking.
It was crazy. But yeah, so but see, the cool thing about it is that a lot of the characterization could be implied. I kind of like that they didn't really have to say anything, or she didn't have to say a lot. It was just like a lot of her personality and a lot of the flaws that she had maybe were implied from her actions. Because like you said, you know, she hit 50. She obviously had a lot of money. She had like a super, super nice apartment. She had Oscars. You know, people still knew who she was and stuff like that. And you would think, yeah, even though it's shitty that like how Dennis Quaid, actually she finds out she's going to get fired because she has to go in the men's room because the ladies' room is out of order. And he comes in there and he hears her talking. She hears him talking on the phone about her. Like, you know, I don't know how this old bitch is, like, still around. And, you know, it's like, yeah, she Oscar winner my ass. When was that? For King Kong in 1930? Ha, ha, ha. You know, like, all this other kind of stuff, like, talking about how old she is. And, you know, get me somebody much younger, like, right now.
Yeah. And so 18 to 30.
Yeah, so she, like, overhears all that. And it's her birthday, too. Yeah. Did you catch that? Like, it was her 50th birthday.
Right.
And so she gets fired. And they're just kind of... He acts, like, all nice to her face. Like, oh, you did such a good job with this. But, you know, she knows what he's really thinking because she heard what he said, like, behind her back. So, rather than... I mean, that's the thing. Like, it sucks, but... like you said, she could have just retired, or she could have gone into roles for older women or something like that. Because, you know, that's what she could have gone that way. But because she was so hung up, they're implying, on youth and being the center of attention, she was willing to do this completely untested... I mean, she didn't know what the fuck this stuff was. She didn't know. It was just like a sketchy nurse at a hospital who was like, here, like, this phone number. Yeah. She goes to this fucking shithole warehouse in the middle of nowhere, like in this sketchy alley with like fucking hypodermic needles everywhere.
Yeah. Well, when they got to the place with the boxes, though, it did kind of look high tech. It looked like it was something that was squirreled away by some kind of rich corporation.
Yeah. Like, so no one would see it.
No one would notice it.
Because it was like black market, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was like black market. Yeah.
So, but the fact that she was willing to do that to herself, not knowing where the shit came from or who made it or what it was going to do.
She didn't know what it exactly would do to you, really.
She didn't really know.
It tells you what it's going to do.
Sort of.
But it sounds so vague. You can interpret it a couple of different ways. It doesn't tell you another version of you is going to pop out of your back.
No, it doesn't tell you that.
It doesn't tell you that. Like even though they kind of show they show egg yolks dividing into two yolks.
Yeah.
But
see, yeah, they don't really give you like a thing of like all of it entails.
Right.
You know what I mean? But she's so desperate to regain her youth, you know, and try to claw back like the fame that she used to have.
Yeah.
Like I said, and none of this is really spelled out. It's all just kind of implied that she's that desperate.
And what ends up happening is that the better copy of you starts outperforming you.
Yeah.
And when you have to go back to your old body, you kind of leave the mentality from the new body, and you go back into your old body, and you kind of see, even though your copy will be asleep for that 7 days, that you're now back to yourself, you kind of yearn for being back in that body again. And then it starts to become a competitor, where like you feel like you don't really have a reason to live.
Yeah.
Like
because everybody wants this one. Because
everybody wants that one. And the only reason why you're alive really is to take care of that thing while it's sleeping. And her fucking self-esteem started to plummet. She couldn't date or anything because she felt inferior to the other one.
Yeah, she kept looking at it like, look how much better she is. Yeah. Look how much younger. Look how much prettier.
Right. So
look how much more successful.
Yeah. So the original starts to live kind of like in misery, and then she shows her fucking calendar. On the days that she Sue, that's the copy. She's got it written Sue. When it's days that she's got to live, it's just X.
Yeah, because she's just like sitting around in a bathrobe, watching QVC and stuff in her face, with food, like just waiting to go back to the other girl.
Right. Now the dude that worked at the hospital that gave her the tip, the young, good-looking guy, she ends up going to a restaurant and sees this old man and says, 7 days is a long time, isn't it? And she's like, what? He goes, I was just checking up to see how you were doing. That was the older version of the fucking young nurse.
Of the young nurse. So
he didn't know about her. And then he goes, is she eating away at you yet? And, and just like, it makes you guys, he's like, you got to make sure you got to find a reason to exist, why you should alive, because he's starting to hate his copy.
Yeah, because you're led to assume that the same thing that happens to Demi Moore's character, whose name is Elizabeth, by the way,
and
the copy's name is Sue. Yeah. But the same thing that happened to him that happened to her is like what starts happening is that the younger version starts getting like super successful and everything like that, and she starts stealing time
because she has to make certain dates.
Like, oh, I'm going to do the cover of Vogue and all this other stuff. Now, one of the rules, I think we mentioned this earlier, but that the copy has to stabilize herself every day, and how you do that is you basically pull out like a little thing of like spinal fluid and inject it into herself from the original
to keep you stabilized. If not, you'll start fucking falling apart.
Yeah. So what she starts doing is that at first, like, they do 7 days and it's all fair and everything, but then as time goes on, the younger one is getting more successful and doesn't really want to go back to being Demi Moore, so she starts taking
extra shit out of
extra days, like out of her spine.
Right, and now eventually what'll eventually happen is there won't be any more to take out of her, so you got to switch back. And when Demi Moore wakes back up, she's now significantly aged in certain body parts.
Yeah, the more extra time
that
she takes, like she just takes 1 day, I think, at first, like an extra day.
And
like when she comes,
her finger,
and her finger goes like all fucked up like a witch finger.
Like a witch finger, big old fucking fat fingernail on it, and all fucking withered looking finger.
And then she
calls. That was just from 1 day.
And then she calls complaining about it, but the dude's like, you can't reverse it. It's just like what's and the argument was because we were talking about how much the consciousness was shared between the two of them. Because the guy on the phone keeps saying, remember, you are one. Like, stop saying she, that's you.
Yeah.
And so...
But they don't really believe it.
Yeah, so it's like, so you're led to assume that to some degree they do share a consciousness, and that if you want the balance to be respected, he's like, well, then respect it, then.
Right, yeah.
Like, stop blaming her, like, that's you.
Because it's you, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the thing is, that Sue, the young copy, was a more improved version of the older one. But the thing is they called it more perfect, more improved, I guess. But I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. She was more of what the original was in terms of, like, she was more ambitious.
Yeah.
More self-centered.
Ruthless.
More ruthless, you're right. So she eventually gets to a point where they start fighting. Every time one of them wakes up, she sees what the other one did.
God damn it.
Yeah, fucking play stop and shit. The young one's going out fucking all these hot guys and fucking sex parties and shit, hot motorcycle dudes and fucking getting all these awards and shit. And the older one's fucking, she can't even go out with a simpy ass fucking fan that she knew from the fucking 8th grade.
10th grade, yeah.
10th grade. And she couldn't, because she can't get outside the door. She's looking at her lipstick going, she looks too old, you know, is what in her mind compared to the younger one. But they started getting into a fight. And Sue, the younger one, steals 3 months.
Yeah, she basically
fucking fluid out of her.
Yeah.
Man.
And when Demi Moore wakes up...
When she wakes up...
Wow.
She doesn't even look human. How fucked up she looks. She's in an old suit maximum 1,000 times, man. Titties hanging and swinging. Fucking, she's naked, running around through the whole thing. Her coochie's
all hunchback.
Yeah, her coochie's hanging down between her knees and shit. Fucking, it's fucking bizarre, man. It was
the
great.
makeup in it was so good.
Yeah.
Like, it still looks...
Yeah.
Well, because she kind of led up to that. Because, like I said, the girl, the younger one, Sue, started, like, she just took an extra day one time and that fucked her finger up. And then, like, later on, she takes a couple more extra days and that fucks, like, one leg up or, like, the bottom of her leg and one foot. And kind of half of her face, like, gets kind of wrinkly and her hair starts going gray. And, but then, like, once she does the 3-month thing, holy crap. When you see Demi Moore, after that, when she comes out of the little...
First of all, she looks like an old man with big old swinging titties on her.
Wow.
That's what she looks like.
She kind of reminded me a little bit, in the face. She looked like Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but the makeup was a lot better.
So she's got to hold it together.
She's bald and shit.
She's got to hold it together in this new body. She fucking calls the black market fucking firm. What was the name of the firm that sold the substance?
There wasn't
really
one.
said. It was just the symbol was 2 orange half moons.
They were lime green, actually.
Lime
green on black.
On a black back. Yeah, that's what
it was. Almost like a play kind of button.
Yeah,
like a rewind or something, or record.
Which is straight out of fucking straight out of fucking like a Cronenberg flick. A mysterious corporation looking thing did it, maybe.
Who's doing this stuff for reasons unknown?
Yeah, they never charged her. Never asked
Not
for
that
a dime.
we know of.
Not that we know
yeah,
of.
because she just called the number.
Yep.
And she just said she didn't really know what to do.
They wouldn't refer to you by your name. They wouldn't interact with you about your name. You had to give them your number. And they referred you to your number. Yeah, it was weird.
Like, they would just sit there and breathe until you said what your number was.
Until you said what your number was, and then they'd fucking respond to that.
And then they were, like, really dismissive.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was just one guy. It was just, like, one guy's kind of creepy voice.
So, she calls and fucking says, I want to stop this. Because they asked her, do you want to stop? Because, yeah, I want to discontinue. She says, okay, go back down to the box. We got something for you. So she runs. She's all dressed up. You can't see her. She's covered up. She's running like a little Gollum and shit.
Yeah.
Back to the pickup box. And she picks up the cardboard box and then opens it up when she gets home, and it's just a syringe. It says termination. And didn't it say termination?
Yeah. So
she tries to inject it. She's injecting her, trying to kill her. And that would end it. All right. But she only gets halfway through it. She says, I can't do it. I got it, because she wants to live as her.
It's almost like
she's kind of addicted to it.
I thought this while I was watching the movie, and I saw one other reviewer point this out, and I was like, okay, good, because I thought I was crazy. It's almost like a fucked up mother-daughter dynamic.
They're the same person.
Yeah, they're the same person, but like in some ways you could also see it because she literally birthed this girl, and you could see it as like a mother
kind of
being jealous of like her daughter, like surpassing her.
But
like you could see it that way too.
Seems to be shifting between the two of them.
Yeah.
But when they get to the new destination, they're kind of a new person.
Yeah.
Because you are how people treat you and what you look like. That's what the story's saying.
Yeah.
And because when she goes into this younger body, she's now 19.
Yeah.
And she's 19 and she's awesome. Her opinion of Elizabeth is like, that's an old lady. Fuck her.
Yeah.
That's exactly the attitude.
Yeah, she's gross.
Fuck that. She's gross and old and fat. Yeah.
She's not fat, but.
But no, she's fucking awesome for 61. You said 61. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, maybe 62.
She looks great.
But yeah, I looked it up. Yeah, she's early 60s.
And then, man, if you want to see this movie, you don't want any spoilers, this is the time to check out, because really, this is where the second part of the movie fucking starts, when she tries to kill the copy.
When it goes bonkers.
It goes fucking ape shit.
Which, like I said, I was not expecting, but I was there for it.
I didn't expect it, but I was like, okay, this is how we're going to go now.
Phantom says Margaret Qualley is 29.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah.
But I think in the movie she's supposed to be 19.
I don't ever say. Yeah, I don't think they say like how old she's supposed to be in the movie. She's clearly just supposed to be like 19 or 20 or like really young. And she can play that. She is 29, but she does look really young.
Yeah, she's built like a 19-year-old.
Phantom said the chicken bone through the belly button scene was nasty.
It wasn't a chicken bone, man.
It was a turkey leg.
Turkey leg. The whole fucking
leg.
Yeah, they're having weird nightmares.
Turkey leg.
They have weird nightmares. All this body horror happens in the nightmare.
Everybody in the theater, like the first time we saw it, everybody went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like there was like a lot of. In a lot of ways, like I don't usually like seeing movies in the theater because I like seeing movies in the theater, but not with other people there because they're noisy. But movies like this are actually kind of fun to see in the theater when everyone's like reacting like that because everyone's like, "Fuck!" Like when crazy shit happened in this movie.
So when Liz fucking injects most of the damn termination serum into Sue, the copy, and then fucking backs out of it, she starts to die, but Liz changes her mind, and she hooks up. She starts doing the switch. Does the switch? Starts giving her blood, and what ends up happening to that is that they both wake up at the same time.
Yeah,
which that's never happened in the movie.
It's not supposed to happen.
It's not supposed to happen. So they're both conscious at the same time, and I guess there's two consciousnesses now, and they start fighting, and Sue kills the older version.
Pretty horribly, actually.
Yeah. So she kills the older version, but now she doesn't have any way to stabilize. She doesn't have
the spinal fluid.
The spinal fluid from the original, so she can't stabilize. She's got to that night. Was it the day after? I think it was the day.
Yeah, it was either the next day or that night.
Or that night, she has to do the holiday show,
the New Year's Eve
show,
big show that they've been building up to the whole movie.
She goes there, knowing she can't really restabilize, and she starts falling apart, and the fucking teeth start falling out. Her
fingernails start falling off. Her ear falls off.
So she's fucking panicking. She's got to go to the show. She's in the bathroom.
And she's wearing this huge dress
and shit. She runs back to her home, and from the original first box that they had the stabilizer.
The activator.
The activator fluid. I noticed when she activated
that it didn't use it all.
It didn't use it up all. There was like a little bit, about 1/4 of it was still left.
Yeah. But you're only supposed to use it once. You're supposed to throw it away.
It told you to throw that 1/4 away. Well, she had some. She had saved it. So she doesn't know what's going to happen. She's going to try to activate herself and make another copy out of herself.
Yeah, like a better copy.
So she could a better copy of herself would come out of the better copy of herself.
Yeah.
So she injects
Copyception.
And she fucking goes down and starts fucking going into convulsions. And you see the fucking transformation. Something slips out the back, and then she's now in the new body. And she goes up and looks in the mirror, and she's a horrible fucking monster.
So funny.
She's got extra eyes. She's got fucking extra arms. She's got a Demi Moore face in her back, fucking screaming, trying to talk.
Like an arm coming out.
And an arm coming out is trying to do things. She says, fuck it. She puts the dress on, takes a Demi Moore fucking picture.
And the earrings. That was my favorite.
She just sticks them in her head. And she puts a paper fucking mask over her face of fucking Demi Moore and tries to go to the fucking event like this. And she goes out on full stage, man.
She looks kind of like the Elephant Man.
Yeah, look like the Elephant Man. Worse. Much worse.
Worse than the Elephant Man.
And it takes them a few minutes to realize what it is they're seeing. People start screaming, "It's a monster!"
Yeah.
One dude jumps up on stage and fucking cuts her head off, and more heads just come out of the hole. Yeah, and she's spraying blood on the whole fucking.
Like a tit comes out of her face. Like...
Yeah. She coughs up a titty and lands on the ground. It's got an umbilical cord on.
Because that wasn't random. That was referring back to like a comment that a dude had made.
Yeah.
Like early on in the movie, at one of the auditions.
Yeah. But then the crowd, she sprays blood all over everybody.
Like I said, it was like reverse Carrie.
It was wild, yeah.
It was just
she was this giant blood breath.
It's like
bizarre.
It's like totally like over the top and operatic.
Yeah, the tone of the movie changed. You're not sure if it's real.
Yeah.
It might have been a hallucination or it might have been a fantasy. I don't know. She ends up fucking running from the studio and running back across fucking Hollywood, and she basically starts falling apart.
Yeah.
And then the Demi Moore part that was in her back fucking breaks out and starts fucking crawling. It's just like a big jellyfish across the fucking sidewalk and ends up on her fucking star. where her star on Hollywood Walk of Fame, and she can only see up. She's looking at the stars and she's smiling. Oh well, how she's happy now. And then she dies. The thing just fucking disintegrates.
And then she gets like cleaned up by a street cleaner.
Yeah, the street cleaner.
The next part,
it's bizarre.
And I was just kind of like I said, I did not expect it to go that, but I was there for it. I don't know, because like I said, if you're not expecting it to go that bonkers,
it went wow.
It went super bonkers. But like I said, I just really admired the audacity of it.
Yeah.
Because the director of this movie, like Coralie, she did not give one single fuck.
No.
She's just like, you know what? I'm just going balls to the fucking wall with this thing. I'm just going to make it as ridiculous as fucking possible.
Well, it was kind of reminded me of that Midnight with the Devil.
Late Night
with the Devil. Remember where all that fucking bizarre shit happened in front of an audience, a live television audience? It's kind of like that, the end.
But this is way crazier.
It's crazier, yeah. Kind of like something out of The Thing. She's morphing into this,
like I said, it goes full on body horror toward the end. And like I said, but it's like ridiculous. And Society is a good analog because, like I said, if you've seen that movie, when did that come out? 86, right? That came out? Brian Yuzna's Society. That one, the end of that is kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
But this is like way crazy. Although Society is crazy too, if you've never seen that.
And you see, when Sue put the fucking activator into herself, what emerged was kind of like a merging of fucking Liz and Sue.
And it had a name.
Liz Sue Monster.
Monstro Eliza Sue.
Eliza Sue, yeah.
Was what they called it.
Funny how and so she was kind of like both for a minute. But she was also real delusional. She still thought she was awesome and beautiful. And she thought that she'd appeared in front of the audience. She was like, no, it's me. I'm still the same person. Which goes back to the theme of, no, you are what you look like. People will treat you exactly how you look like. You know what I mean? So don't get delusional.
So everyone just treated her like a monster.
Yeah, you look like a monster. You are a monster. You got too many fucking arms. And you got fucking eyes on the top of your head and shit. Fucking you're a monster. Yeah. So if you're beautiful, they're going to treat you a certain way. If you're a monster, they're going to treat you another way. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
It's kind of like society dictates who you are.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think, one of the points that the movie was making, that how you look absolutely has to do with how people treat you, which in turn kind of informs your personality to a large degree.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. And I think that's where, and so I think the title of the movie, The Substance, has like a double meaning. I mean, it's talking about the actual substance, but it's also talking about how your substance as a person doesn't really matter.
No, you can think you're beautiful on the inside and shit, and the crowds are going to love you. No, they're not. I'm going to say you were a fucking monster. And you see it happening in the movie. I liked it.
I love this movie.
It had a lot of cool messages.
This is actually one of my favorite horror movies I've seen this year. And like I said, just the way that the whole frame of it, and it's long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I was like, I could have watched it all day. Like, it was just like everything about it. Like, I love the music in it. I love the sound design. Like, the visuals are stunning. Every frame of it is like gorgeous, like the shot compositions and everything like that.
It's a good art film.
And if Demi Moore does not get an Oscar nomination, I'm going to be really mad. I mean, she probably will not get it for a movie like this because it's horror. Yeah. Like I said, if Toni Collette didn't get one for Hereditary, then I don't think Demi Moore is going to get one. But I think this is easily the best thing I've ever seen Demi Moore.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
she comes back and fucking knocks it out of the park in a fucking awesome
she fucking
movie.
killed it.
Yeah, killed it.
And the fact that she comes in at 61 and just did not give a fuck. She's naked through like half of this movie. And it's like close-ups of her body.
Yeah.
You know,
she looks good.
She does. Yeah.
I didn't know she was 61. I thought she was maybe 50.
But and then as she gets like older, like as the younger girls keeps like draining stuff out of her, like all the makeup they did on her and stuff like that. I mean, she just looks horrifying. She looks like a fucking witch, and then she just looks like a monster, and she's just like acting more and more like deranged. Like as time goes on, she gets like jealous that this girl is like taking all her taking all her life force essentially. It was like draining all her life force out of her, and there's like nothing she can do about it.
According to the rules of the movie, Sue was worth more, so it's kind of like nature. But naturally, she'd be just stealing more of her life force.
Yeah.
Because why would you want to be that old bag? That's what the thinking of Sue.
Yeah.
Sue's thinking would be like, why do I want to be that old bag?
And like I said, if they were indeed sharing a consciousness, which, as I said, I think it deviated more as time went on.
That's Liz doing it.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like that maybe, they didn't spell this out, but I think it was implied that maybe Elizabeth was like that when she was younger.
Yeah.
Like that she was like really ruthless like that and everything like that. And it was almost like it was coming home, the chickens were coming home to roost, maybe. Like she was getting the back end of some shit that maybe she'd done to people when she was younger.
Yeah.
Like she had replaced an older woman or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's all implication. I was just kind of like speculating that maybe that's...
No, that's what it meant.
Yeah.
That's what it meant.
And so we were talking too about what I like that they didn't say who made the substance.
Yeah.
Or why you didn't have to pay for it, or why it was being distributed the way it was distributed.
Some theories, but
but see, that's what's cool about it, is that you could like think of theories about, well, why would a company make this and then just distribute it maybe for free? I mean, unless people paid for it and they just didn't show that. Yeah. But it seemed like she wasn't. I don't think she paid for it. She just called and she said, "I'd like to order," and they just kind of gave her, like, they didn't ask for a credit card number or nothing like that. They just said, "Here, go to this address with this card."
I think it was free.
And she just went and picked up stuff from like a safety deposit box or like a locker type of thing, like in this alley.
Well, it was being spread by the copies because it was a copy that offered her.
The like the nurse.
Yeah, the nurse.
Because he had done it.
He had done it. And there was up to 18 of them, but maybe there was only half of them in the LA area. Maybe there might have been 7, 8 of them, maybe, in the LA area. It could have been that this would have to be made by a scientist.
Yeah.
Okay. And a scientist would probably try to use it on himself.
Yeah.
So the copy of the scientist is one probably giving it away for free. And established the fucking mechanism by which to give it away for free.
That's what we were
and
saying.
Using the copies to recruit other people, because that'd be the only way the copies could reproduce.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like their own species. And so from the copy scientist or the improved scientist point of view, it's altruism.
Yeah.
So you don't need money.
Right.
He's trying to create his own kind.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were speculating.
Probably what it was. Now, you could easily make a sequel on this. Oh, you could make several horror movies based on this. Now, would it be as well written as this one? Probably not, because the original writer probably wouldn't be involved. They'd probably sell this off to somebody else, make a B movie.
And this won best screenplay at Cannes, by the way.
Yeah.
And when it screened at Cannes, it got like a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Like for several minutes.
Yeah.
So the French, they loved it.
Yeah.
I know other people go to Cannes too. Everybody goes to Cannes, but you know what I mean. Elsie said maybe it's a you are the product situation. Yeah, I mean, could be. Like some of the apps that let you use them for free, like because they're trapping you to like look at ads and shit like that. So it could be a situation like that. But like I said, I kind of thought, like you said, because the only other person that you see that you know has done this is the nurse, and then you see his old guy analog like later on in the movie, because he's kind of, you only see him in one scene, and he was apparently like checking up on Demi Moore's character, so you're led to assume that he was following her around. But like I said, you only see him one time, and he's not threatening or anything, but he's basically showing her, it's like foreshadowing, like showing her future. He doesn't look that fucked up in the sense of like he doesn't look inhuman, but he looks like kind of a fucked up old guy. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look like he's too healthy. So you're led to assume that the younger nurse version of him has been doing the same thing that Sue has been doing. Yeah. But at this stage in the movie, Sue's only done that like one time. Because I think at that point, only her finger was fucked up. So Sue had only taken one extra day at this point. But it gets like way, way worse like as time goes on.
She eventually takes 3 months.
Yeah, like she just like basically drains all this stuff out and puts it in all these jars and shit like that. So she doesn't have to wake her up after all that time.
Yeah, the body won't make any more, so they have to switch. She doesn't want to switch back into that body.
Because it's the timing of when they're switching is like really... That's when she gets desperate and starts...
Yeah.
Because she still looks kind of pretty, but then because she killed the original, like... You know, because they're connected, she starts, like, her teeth start falling out and all this other kind of stuff.
There's no way to stabilize her.
Yeah, she can't. Yeah, she doesn't have any stabilizer. She doesn't have any spinal fluid anymore because she killed the host. So, yeah, so that's when she decides she's going to take the activator.
Killing the host was basically suicide, though.
Yeah.
She kills herself because it's the same person.
Yeah.
It's the same person in two different frames of being.
Yeah. But we were speculating like how much of their consciousness they shared actually, because I said it did seem like they knew stuff that the other one knew.
Yeah.
Like as soon as Sue came out of Demi Moore's back, she knew what to do. Like she knew to sew up her back.
Yeah. She could speak English.
She knew how to do the she knew where the safety deposit box was, like to get refills. Like she knew all of that stuff.
She knew the inside of the apartment. She knew how to do everything.
So they had shared consciousness in that way.
She knew that job was available. They do.
Yeah. Well, she saw that in the paper. Yeah, but she knew that.
Just a reminder. She knew it was available.
But then sometimes like when Demi say like woke up after the 7 days, she seemed like kind of surprised at what Sue had been up to a little bit.
Because she didn't have the same frame of reference, you know what I mean? Because she couldn't relate to those decisions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because that was the decisions of a young crazy chick.
Yeah.
Because that's what the state of mind she was in. Like, kind of like you snap out of it. You go, man, I did that when I was drunk. Man, it's that kind of shit.
Yeah, and in a way, because they seemed to like, there were a couple sort of dream sequences, like the one with the turkey leg and everything like that, where it seemed like their consciousnesses were like bleeding into each other, like when the other one was dreaming.
Yeah.
Because the reason that she pulled that turkey leg out of her belly button was because while she was asleep and Demi Moore was awake, Demi Moore had been like binge eating. Yeah. And she had eaten like a whole fucking turkey.
She wouldn't go outside.
Because she wouldn't go outside because she thought she looked too shitty. Yeah. So she was just in the apartment binge eating. And so I think that the consciousness was like bleeding over into each other's dreams, like while the other one was sleeping.
Speaking of binge eating, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I got chicken downstairs.
Okay.
Okay, so my take on the movie is that it's a great movie. It's one of the best horror movies of this year. I'd see it.
I mean, it's going to be pretty divisive if you're not into horror movies. It's pretty...
if you like Cronenberg movies, you'd like
If you like Cronenberg, you'd probably be into it. Somebody also brought up... Phantom also brought up Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, this had like a little bit of that kind of vibe too, like as far as like the surreal aspects of that went. And Leslie Russell brings up Wasp Woman from 1959, which, you can tell that there's some like influence of the story from that too. But... Tom Baker said, I think the French body horror movie Eyes Without a Face from 1960 is still the best. I love that movie. I've seen that like lots of times. And I reviewed it like over on my other channel a little while back. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be real divisive. If you don't like body horror, like I said, if you don't like needles and evisceration and surgery and like all this other kind of fluids and stuff like that, this is probably going to gross you the fuck out because it's pretty fucking graphic.
Movie's also kind of a throwback to a fucking to the good old days too. Fucking, I like this movie.
Yeah,
it's kind of like something that was made in the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah, and like I said, it's fairly restrained for like the first 2/3, and then the third act just goes completely crazy. But like I said, I was there for it. I know some people that saw it in the theater with us like thought the tone went way too far, but I was just kind of like, nope, I was there for it.
It was building up to the crazy.
I thought it was like pretty fucking cool, but yeah. So yeah. If that sounds like something you would like I said, then please go see it in the theater, because the more people go and see this kind of stuff, like the more kind of crazy shit like this that they'll make, and I'm kind of into that. So yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for this evening. Go have some fried chicken. And our Wednesday night show is going to be, it should be some spooky fun. We're going to be talking about some lost underwater civilizations. So that should be fun. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us on this movie review this evening. And we'll see you guys again on Wednesday night. Good.